Hello students, so today we're going to go over the skill RMH. So if you're watching this video is because you are going to do RMH. So here we go. Okay, so this is actually the last skill for the week because this week we're only going to have 3 skills, and remember to complete your survey in case that you have not completed the survey. So remember to do that. So here we go. Now for this skill we're actually going to be interpreting the point given in the graph. And there are two important things that you need to know in order to interpret the point correctly. And those things are, number one, the representation of the x axis on the graph and the representation of the y-axis on the graph. So look how the x-axis is talking about in this problem the pairs of socks, and the y-axis is talking about the dollars. So that's what you need to know. Now look at the point given there, which is 5, 10. So I'm actually going to write it here, 5, 10. The 5, it's the x coordinate, and the y is the 10. The y coordinate would be the 10. And I want that you check one more time how the x talks about, what do you think it's talking about? Yes, about the pairs of socks. And I want that you check how the y coordinate, which is the 10, which is this one here, is talking about the dollars. So you would pick the one that represents the correct point, right? 5, 10 represents 5 pairs of socks per $10. That's what it would represent. Now let's read the possible answers. Possible answer number 1 is that you can buy 5 pairs of socks per $10, which it is true. That's what we found, 5 pairs per $10. And option 2, it's 10 pairs of socks per $5. The second option doesn't make sense because if you think about it, the number 10, it's actually not for the pairs of socks, but for the money. It represents the dollars. So because of that, the correct answer would be option number 1. Now let's see if that is correct. Perfect. Now let's do the second one. Let's find the coordinate point, and then let's also find what are the representation for the x and the y axis. So if we look at the point is actually 2, 6. We know that the x coordinate is 2, the y coordinate is 6. And if we check on the x-axis, the x is talking about days. So this one would be for days. And the y, it's talking about the trees. So this one would be for the trees. Now let's see which interpretation would be the best in case for this case. So we have 2 days, 6 trees. So let's see what are they telling us in here. It says, in her first 6 days on the island, Brianna cuts down a total of 2 trees. Do you think that makes sense? Did she actually cut 2 trees in 6 days? Not, right? In 2 days, she cut 6 trees. That's what the point is telling you, because you have 2 days and 6 trees. So let's look at the second option. In her first 2 days, which is actually what we got here, you have 2 days and 6 trees, which it matches what we got here. So because of that, the correct answer would be the second one. Now let's do this one here. Let's do the same process. Let's find the point. Let's label the point and check on the representation, the axis, the labeling we have for the axis, for the x and for the y-axis. So the point we got is 1, 5. So we have 1, 5. And we know that the x, it's 1, and the y, it's 5. So if we go to the x-axis is given in inches, is the side length in inches. So I'm just going to write here inches. And the y values is the perimeter in inches. You know what? I'm going to write everything because both of them are talking about inches and you can get a little bit confused. So this one is the side in inches and this one is the perimeter in inches. Now let's see which interpretation can be correct based on this. So we have that according to the problem, it says a regular pentagon with a perimeter of 1 inch has a side length of 5 inches. That is not actually quite correct because if you think about it, we have one side inches and the perimeter it's 5. And this one they're telling you 1 inch and the one perimeter, the perimeter of 1 inch and the side of 5. This one has a perimeter of 5 inches and the side length of 1. So because of that, the correct answer would be the second one. 5 inches, which matches what you have here, 5 inches of the perimeter and 1 inch on the side length. So it would be the second option. Oops, let me click enter, and there you go. Now let's get ahead to see what type of problems you would get on the 60s or 70s. The 14, this one is kind of the same one. Let me see on this one. Ooh, this one. 65. Ooh, what do you see new on this problem? What is given and what is not given. Yeah, the points are not given. They're giving you actually a letter, and the letter is Q. So if you're wondering, well, then what can I do here? Well, it's exactly the same thing. Now, what they're asking you is that you find the coordinates of Q. So in this case, the coordinates of Q, the x coordinate, so the x coordinate and the y coordinate. We need to find both. The x coordinate would be, let's go down, the x coordinate is 14, and the y coordinate is 7. So the x coordinate is 14, the y coordinate is 7. Now I want that you check how the x coordinate is talking about books. So this one is books. And the y coordinate is talking about inches. Now let's see which one of the two interpretations makes more sense. So if it's telling you that you got 14 books and it's 7 inches, I think they're talking about space or something like that. Yes, they're talking about space. So let's see which one makes more sense. The first 14 books in the series take up 7 inches of space along the shelf. I think that one makes sense because look how they're talking about 14 books and you have 7 inches of space, which matches these two here. But let's check on the second one. 7 books and 14 inches of space. Do you think that makes sense? Not right. It would be the first one because you have 14 books and 7 inches of space. Let's check. Perfect. Now let's get ahead to see what would we have. Oh, you want to do one more? Yeah, we got time. So let's do this one. Let's find the coordinates for H. So the coordinates for H would be, the x coordinate is 20, so the x would be 20. And let's find the y coordinate. So the y coordinate is 12. Now let's see what the x coordinate talks about. Oh, the x talks about cookies. And the y talks about dollars. So you have 20 cookies per $12. Let's see which one, which interpretation would be the correct one in this case. So we have for $20, is the 20 representing the dollars in this problem? So the first answer would not be correct. Actually the 20 represent the cookies, and that's what it's given on the second option, and the 12 represent the dollars. So for $12 she can buy 20 oatmeal raisin cookies, which is the second option. Okay, let's do one more. Let me get ahead on the 80s. Well, that one's actually the same. Let me get to the 90s. Let's see what you would have on the 90s. Ooh, nice. Let's see this one here. Now we need to find the missing number according to the information given. So I'm going to read the question here. It says, use the graph to complete the statement. If Kayla sells a clock for $500, it's a pretty expensive clock, but $500. So she sells the clock for $500. So we need to look at the axis. Look at the x-axis, which is this one here. And then you look at the y-axis and read what they're giving you there. So on this one, they're giving you dollars in commission, and this one dollars in sales. So she's telling you that, well, the problem is telling you that she sold the clock in $500. So I would go here on the 500, which if I go on the sales on the 500, it would be somewhere here. So I go all the way up. I check where it intersects with the line. and so I can get what they're looking at, they're asking me for, because they're asking me how much she earns in commission. So if I go to the line and I check on the commission, she earned $50. So I can type that in here, $50. And that's it. So that's how you can do this problem as well. So hopefully you get to this point. If you are not able to get to this point, at least you watched the video already. So see you guys. See you on the next video. Bye.